Yo, what's up everybody? It is Monday, June 8th. I just sent out, well not just, I sent out the new copy of MMT Trader. If you want to get a copy of that, go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com, and sign up for a 30-day free trial. The link is right here in the description below. So, another big update in the market today. People now have been waiting and waiting. I've talked about this. I've been talking about this, about the waiting. The irony of waiting. I say to people, when you're in something good, they don't want to wait. They want to do something, buy, sell, buy, sell. But then there are those who wait and wait and wait until everything is perfect, until they get the green light to go ahead and buy or sell. Like a lot of times on the downside, you know, when the market breaks, 20% down, all over the media they're saying it's a bear market, like as if you have to sell 20% down. If you do that, you're going to be broke very soon. And the same thing on the upside. When you wait and wait and wait until, hey, the economy's doing great, they jump in, there's going to be a pullback. And it could be a very vicious pullback actually, because, and I'm not trying to, get overly bearish here. I understand that there's a massive amount of fiscal support in this economy. I want to talk about that too, because you got a lot of people on here saying, they're printing money. They're printing money. And they don't like it. They think there's something wrong with that. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But first I want to say, on the upside, these people who wait and wait and wait, and they sit around and they stay on the sidelines until everything looks perfect to them, and then they jump in. I mean, the time to buy was back in late March, early April. Right now, those who are jumping in now because they see the picture, the data now supporting an economic expansion. I mean, the market has already discounted that to a large degree. Maybe it's okay to get in because, like I said, we do have an enormous, unprecedented amount of fiscal support. But my guess is you'll see a pullback from here. Oh, two other things. Number one, the tax flows. Yes, we are seeing, or I am seeing, an improvement in the employment and withholding tax deposits. Those have been increasing from the period from May 15th up until now. Now that period was the period of the beginning of the end of the lockdowns. By the way, here in New York, we opened up in phase 1 today. So that period, we are seeing an uptick in employment tax deposits. So that's picking up on people going back to work. All right, that's data is supporting that, and obviously we saw the 2.5 million jobs last Friday. But some are saying that there's a report that that is a misclassification on the part of the BLS, but we'll find out. Anyway, what we are not seeing, or what I am not seeing, is a similar pickup in corporation income taxes, like from the period from May 15th up until now. All right, corporation income taxes are still growing at a slower rate than the period from March 16th until May 14th. That was the lockdown period. So, what I surmise from this is that people are going back to work. That's good. Corporate profits not yet picking up, but that should happen. All right. As far as they're printing money. People get so upset about this. First of all government spending is money printing. Okay, these are just keystrokes on a computer. All right, the government is a maker of money, and the private sector is a maker of things, goods and services. The private sector is a taker of money, and the government is a taker of things, goods and services. That is the balance there. That is the relationship, okay? Now, the reason why the private sector needs the government's money is because that is the only thing the government accepts for the payment of taxes. So if you want to extinguish your tax liability, you have to pay in dollars. Even if you have gold, if you went to the IRS, if you went to the Treasury and said, here, I want to pay my tax debt, they're going to say, well, go sell that gold and give us dollars. All right? So it's not so much that the government is spending so much and printing money. It's that the private sector needs, okay? There's a need, there is a requirement for the government's money. If nothing else, than just to pay to satisfy tax obligations. But it is also used for transaction, for commerce. It is a unit of account. So the creation or that so-called printing of money is really a function of the private sector's need for that money, right? They have to pay taxes, and they also like to save a certain amount. I mean, if you look now, savings are they're blowing up, but that's mainly because the economy has been shut down and the government, through these stimulus programs, bank deposits have been piling up with money. So, again, the printing of money, if you want to call it that, and that's really not a correct way to state it, but if you want to call it that, that's fine. That is really a function of the private sector's need for that money, both to satisfy tax obligations and to net save. All right? So the private sector's demand is what actually induces that money creation process. All right? When the when the economy was hit by coronavirus, people needed money. There was a political response to that. That's the other thing. People vote on these things. You take a program like Social Security, you take a program like Medicare, you take a program like Medicaid, you take defense, for example. In this country, in the United States, everybody is gung-ho on the military. It's a political decision to spend trillions and trillions to build up the military and to have a massive military budget and to have our armed forces on bases all over the world and to spend $14 billion on an aircraft carrier and $150 million on one F-35 fighter. The public demands that. We put these people in office that are our representatives, and we choose people who represent our interests, supposedly. Anyway, maybe not. They represent corporate interests mainly. So you got to get over this. You don't dig your money up from out of the ground. Okay? A gold standard limits limits the supply of money. It causes money to be finite. So what happens then? It rations money, and that's bad. It's never really worked before in the past. The system blows up. So that's why basically the world has gone off a fixed money system like a gold standard, and we're on what we have today, which is free-floating foreign exchange, non-convertible currency, non-convertible into some quantity of a metal like gold or something like that. So it's no big deal. You can't, and by the way, we have seen this tremendous, unprecedented growth in the monetary base, reserve balances at banks. We've seen the Fed's balance sheet grow to over $7 trillion in a very short period of time, and there has been no inflation. So you cannot just axiomatically connect the two. You can't. Certain factors create inflation, and it is not dependent necessarily on how much the government spends or the private sector's demand for the government's money. It's just not. So to get all bent out of shape over that stuff, for me and my people, it's fantastic, because We take your money away from bad belief systems. We take your money away. We know how people think. We know how they think incorrectly. And we can capitalize on that. And we do capitalize on that. So, if you want to learn more, come on board. Remember, I am the only one who has an applied approach to MMT. Go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com, and sign up for a 30-day free trial to MMT Trader. Bye.